breaking news from the BS and Beer news desk.
Welcome into another edition of the Beer Chaser. I'm your host, Dale. With me today, we've got Tomas and my beer run buddy, Craig. What's up, man?
Ho, ho, holy shit, where's the Tylenol?
That's right. That's right. Full bunch in today. But we got some good news, man. The Saints pulled out a win, 28-6 over the Panthers. We're feeling good. So talk to me, Tomas. What you thinking so far?
Well, I think that special teams pulled through. I think the defense, for the most part, showed up. Still can't stop a running quarterback, but that's because of other things. But again, another sad performance by the quarterback. But, I know people that say it's not his fault. Okay. I would disagree.
Okay.
I feel attacked.
Right. The Saints ended this game with 110 passing yards.
My God.
Yes. But hey, we put up 28 points. So I guess what you want to see? 300 yards, 18 points.
No,
100 yards.
I want to see 4 touchdowns in the red zone, and I want to see Jimmy Graham catch all 4. There you go.
Okay, there you go. Tomas got Jimmy Graham on the fantasy team.
Well, yeah, spoken like a fantasy owner.
No, sir. I do not have Graham on my fantasy team, nor do I have Carr on my fantasy team.
Well, you see, Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael, they both wanted to draft Jimmy Graham onto their fantasy teams. And when they didn't get him, they decided to make sure he never got the ball until it was week 15 or whatever.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Do you all curse on the live show? Do I have to save this for Beer Run or
no, go right ahead. It's
fine. We believe in the First Amendment on this show.
Oh, God bless America.
Exactly. So say whatever the hell you want to say.
Have you guys ever felt worse about a dominant victory than that one? Like, the Panthers are so horrible that, like, even in victory, I'm bad taste in your mouth. And that's not just from the non-alcoholic beer I'm drinking. Just a dirty taste in your mouth. Man. Just can't stop a running quarterback. They started running the ball down our throats the second half. The fact that they didn't score a touchdown is just blowing my mind. When Sanders ripped off that long run and got him down inside the 5, I'm like, there it is. There it is. We're going to need Derek Carr to come back. We're screwed. And never ended up happening. I had no idea what's going on.
But they had over like 200 yards, didn't they? Rushing the ball?
If they didn't, it felt like it.
I think they had over 200.
Probably.
Yeah.
400 maybe?
I don't know.
Did they have 500 yards rushing? They may have, because it seemed like every time anyone handed the ball off, there was gaping holes again.
Yeah.
Bryce Young's not a running quarterback, but he runs against us and nobody else. Like, he ran against us in week 2 also, and then didn't run against anybody. And then today, what do you have? 3 first downs on scrambles?
Well, I think when you're that small, you're kind of scared to get hit by,
Well, he saw how Kyler Murray dealt with his career getting banged up every season and just decided not to get hit.
And imagine Murray, he's got a stronger physique than Young does. Young's got no place to put weight on, So, hey, Dale, you've muted yourself. We can't hear you.
Oh, why did you tell him? It was so much better this way.
Because he goes like this. He goes.
It's the best he's ever sounded.
All right, say something now, Dale. He's still muted. He's still muted.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay, well, Craig, you and I will just have to interpret for when Dale says something, we can interpret it.
Okay, Dale, just lift your eyebrows really high if I say something that doesn't make sense to you, and then smile if it makes sense. And then we'll just go by your facial reactions. Now this is going. Yeah. Derek Carr has not been the problem every week, but boy, howdy, it is really hard to say that he didn't miss a lot of opportunities today. And so I think a lot of it is scheme, because they asked him to throw a lot of short passes. I mean, at one point he had 12 completions for 40 yards. Like, that's insanity to me. The screen game was non-existent. Every time we threw a screen, we lost 5 yards.
So do you think they asked him to pass short? Or
I
you just think
I think that's part of it, though. I think that they saw how bad Carolina's offense was, how bad their offense matched up against our defense, and decided, don't take shots, don't risk it, don't put the ball in jeopardy. You know, they're not going to score on us, so be careful with it and be cautious.
But how is that different than last week, Craig, or the week before, or the week before that?
That's the thing, is it looks like strategy this week, and it looked like incompetence last week. I don't get this team.
Oh, I see.
I don't get this team.
I see. Well,
Yeah.
Just remember who's calling the plays. I believe that's called Pete Carmichael.
Yeah, that's him. That's the common denominator in all of this. So, sure. So let's start early on.
Wait. I think Dale's lost control of this show already. So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're off the rails here, guys.
Yeah, early on, the Saints stopped them on the first possession, force a punt and everything. The Saints, after their first possession, they get the ball into the red zone, and we fail. We come up with a field goal, and Groupie misses a 29-yarder. That was not a good way to start things, especially when you're thinking, hey, Groupie is like our number one offensive weapon. You know,
they tried to blame that on the holder. Did you see that? They said, well, he didn't turn the ball fast enough. So it messed the timing up. And Groupie felt the same way. As soon as it left his foot, he turned around and looked down at the holder. So we have a petulant, spoiled child as our kicker, and he's about the same size as a child. So it's all relative, I guess. I hate special teams. I hate all of them. Play football, God's sake.
Yep. We saw the Saints defense get a turnover off of Howden blitz. Werner came up with it. It was that rule a fumble or an interception?
It was a pick.
Okay.
No, they went back and said that it was not an
Did they change it?
Yeah, they said it was a fumble.
Okay.
It never touched the ground, though.
Right. And that's why I didn't know if it was a fumble or a pick.
They said he didn't make a forward motion for a pass, so they called it a fumble.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, they took it out. Yeah. All right. Well, then we suck. We can't even pick off Bryce Young. This defense is pathetic.
But yeah, that was a nice play there by the defense, getting that turnover. However, the offense gets the ball back. We can't turn it into points. That was pretty much the story early on, right? With this offense kind of struggling early. So
yeah, it was very samey with the red zone offense early.
Yeah, exactly. So, so then our next possession, we get the ball. AK is able to score a touchdown. And this is like the start of the second quarter here. And it was a red zone touchdown. So shout out to the Saints for converting the red zone touchdown. At this point, it's 7-0 Saints. And in this point in the game, we have 72 yards rushing by the Saints.
But did you notice that in that 9-yard run that Kamara scored, the only reason he scored is because he pushed Pete out the way. I'm serious. He pushed Pete out the way to get in because Pete wasn't moving his guy. So I was like, hey,
Okay. That happens more often than you might think. I've had more than a couple of running backs bang into my backside trying to get in the end zone.
Yeah.
The hell out the fat.
That sounded way off.
Man.
This is live. We can't even edit that out. That's
you asked if you could say anything you wanted to say.
Let's all forget about the time that I said something about backsides and banging in with running backs. Let's all let's get that out.
I thought you said you asked if you could say these kinds of things, and we said, sure,
yes.
Go ahead.
You know what? The 0.5% of alcohol in that Lagunitas has got me swimming right now. So I'm not responsible for my actions or behavior.
Well, Craig, don't be like the Buffalo coach and start talking about terrorists. I can't edit that. Okay.
As South Park dictated, there is a finite period of time when things become funny again, and he missed it by like 3 weeks. So,
Yep.
There we go.
That's right. Dennis Allen used a horse racing analogy for his motivational speech. How the fuck are you supposed to football players? And you're going to tell me about horse racing? What? What the hell are you talking about? You could not find 2 more different sports. Shut up, Dennis Allen.
Yeah, there we go.
Even in victory, I want to fire him into the sun.
I think he was talking about all the nags that he's bet on that he's lost on. That's probably what his little speech was about. Now, don't be like me.
Coincidentally, we all bet on him, and we're losing too.
That's my point. That's my point. You got it. See, my speech would work.
Yeah.
My speech would work because it would be right behind a new head coach that we just hired.
Well, yeah. So part of the thing that you talked about earlier, Tomas, with Bryce Young scrambling, we saw him get out for a first down in the second quarter on a 3rd and long.
Yep. Well, it's not a question that he can't scramble. I believe he can, but there comes a point where these young kids have to learn how to produce in the pocket. And I think perhaps their quarterback coaches said that to him, look, you got to learn how to read the defense. You have to learn. So try not to scramble. You have escapability. But when it comes to the Saints, Granderson can hold a corner, but the other players can't hold a corner. So all he has to do is break to that left side and off he goes, which is exactly what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And I still say, I was saying, having this conversation with my wife, we have DeMario has lost at least 1 step. Cam has lost probably 2. Honey Badger's probably lost 3. So we have slow people playing on the defense. I mean, it's just that simple, So you're going to expect these running quarterbacks to take off. He's not necessarily a running quarterback, but he's young, he's agile, and he's got some speed, so he's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that points out one of the great weaknesses on this team. We just don't have speed. Being an SEC person watching, one of my alma maters, Kentucky, right?
Okay.
They didn't really become effective in the SEC until they decided to get SEC players, right? They had a lot of good young kids playing, but they were 2 steps slow, so they couldn't really compete. When they brought up the overall speed of the defense, all of a sudden they could compete. Well, it's the same thing in the pros. It's no different. You don't have the speed on defense. Bye-bye, Billy Ed. So my opinion. Greg, do you agree?
So two things about that. 2 things. We are a slow defense, but I think it's scheme too. I think there's a lot of defensive backs with their back to the football, and there's a lot of linebackers who are kind of out of position because we noticed that before they lost these steps, we still had trouble with running quarterbacks. Cam Newton stuff gave us all trouble. We've never been good against a running quarterback, but now that we're slow, we're real bad at it. And 2, one thing I want to point out, of the 3 of us, the one of us with the Santa hat should be Tomas, because that is a glorious looking Santa beard you got going on right now. It's festive as hell for this time of year, and I support it.
Thank you, sir. I just trimmed it up this morning, so it was actually about like this morning, but ho, ho, ho.
There it is. Yeah.
Now, I can't go on with...
bring me down. You can't bring me down about our crappy Saints team still being dragged into a tie for first place. Buccaneers won, by the way. We are in a 3-way tie at 6-7. Once again, they pull us back in. But you can't drag me down for that because I'm going to the game next week. We are not eliminated from the playoffs. We're not eliminated from a top 10 pick either. It's all in front of us, guys. Let's do this.
I have a prediction. Are you ready for my prediction?
All right, what's that?
We have 4 games left. We will win 3 of the 4 that are left.
Ooh.
And end up at least 9-8 and winning the South.
Do we lose in Los Angeles?
That's the only one I'm thinking that we lose, yes.
If we win on division games, we would probably win the division at this rate.
Well, we have Atlanta, we have Tampa, so we can make up for the 2 losses that we have there. We have the Giants, which you're going to go there and give us the good luck. This is, I'm counting on you bringing us luck at that game. So there you go. If
we lose that game, it is directly on me.
Yes, it is. I will blame you. Absolutely.
I should.
And when is that game? What's the date? Is that a December game or a January game?
Which one?
The Giants.
Oh, it's next week. It's
next week.
Sunday. It's November, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then I definitely blame you. If it was in January, I'd blame me because I'm not drinking in January. So
there you go.
But next week I'll still be drinking.
So definitely, what I'm hearing from Tomas,
yes,
if he's calling for the Saints to make the
playoffs. Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
He has been hovering over that button so itchy for about 10 minutes
I
now.
have.
Someone's going to say playoffs. I'm going to push the button.
I
I'm
have,
going to do it.
yes.
Someone's going to say it.
Yes, I have.
Playoffs. We can't stop the run. We can't stop the pass. We can't pass the ball. We played like poop.
Now, to be fair, I'm not even sure that was an impression. That's just what Tomas sounds like when he gets rolling. If anybody here has heard a
There
nice
you go.
Tomas rant.
Wait. I can use my deep voice if you like. Yeah.
Whoa. Easy. Our female listeners are going to be turning the volume up right now.
You know, I could use the special Santa voice. A little bit.
Guys. Some of us have wives that listen to this show. Okay, let's tone
And
down
what
the
would
sex
you like
appeal.
for your special holiday gift, my love?
Woo!
Hey, I got a Santa here now. Like, this is my
And
Santa.
And have a little Barry White playing in the
This
background.
would be like
Feliz
if Santa Claus.
Navidad!
This is like if Santa Claus was written in a romance novel. That's what we're looking at right now.
Wait. That's better than that. There you go. Mi linda, ¿qué es lo que usted quiere para su regalo especial?
Is it a Spanish Santa? That's amazing.
Yes.
There's a North Pole joke in here somewhere. Let's all move on before we get our candy cans out.
Well, you know, it's a telenovela kind of thing. You know.
There
Yeah,
it is.
I got Papa Noel up in here, man. That's right. All right, so the Panthers get on board with the field goal and makes it 7-3 Saints. And also in this game, I did not realize that it was legal to hit a rugby style punter, like no matter what, like you can just lay him out.
Yeah, but once he starts running to the side, you can't hit him. You can him because otherwise they would just run to the side that they're going to punt and then just keep going, and you couldn't hit him. You know, so as soon as he takes that angle and breaks stride, then it's fair game. Which fair, just kick the fucking ball, you idiot. God, I hate rugby.
But wait now, does that also mean that if you're a quarterback and you move from the center of the pocket, but you don't make it outside the tackle box and you get hit, that it shouldn't count either? Should that not, shouldn't be roughing the quarterback if you get off your spot, but you're still inside the box? Shouldn't
Well, if
count
you're playing Tom Brady, it is like that.
Oh, that's right. What was I thinking about? I'm so sorry. Well,
So when the Panthers got the ball back, they were forced to punt, and the Saints actually blocked the punt. Sewell got in there, and paging Craig, DeMarco Jackson picks it up and scores a touchdown for the Saints. It's actually 14-3.
Hey Dale, how many touchdowns does that guy from LSU have? Because I bet it's 0.
I believe Clark has 0 touchdowns. Craig.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. You're right there, Craig. have to give you that one there, Craig. So there you go.
What's up?
and I like those two linebackers,
Well,
Sewell and
Sewell
Jackson.
coming off of a
Playing a lot,
pretty big year, a pretty big week last week.
Yeah.
And he follows it up with a nice special teams play. Like I think you're gonna find him in the lineup.
Yeah, I like
He's
both of them.
rangy. He's undersized though. He gets pushed around a little bit. If you get a guard on him, it's over.
Yep. So
Or
right
now the center.
wait, what would you say?
As we know, centers are fragile, tiny people with sensitive egos. So we try to leave the centers out of this.
Okay.
All right, right before halftime, Carr throws and it's intercepted. It's really good play by Derek Brown on the defensive line for the Panthers.
Bullshit,
He
too.
deflected the ball and caught it for that interception. So
Like, how much worse does Derek Carr's stat line look with that one random ass pick thrown in there? Like, sure, we know it's bad for the yards per attempt and everything like that. But if you take that pick away, it still looks like, okay, we were just being conservative. That one random little interception on his stat line makes it look like he had a bad game, which he did. But, it looks worse.
I mean, yeah, you can't argue.
All right,
with that.
you guys go. It looks like you guys go chronologically through this game. How good was that throw to get Jimmy Graham to get us down there, and then that slant to Olave? I've never seen Carr throw a good slant before, and that slant on the touchdown to Olave was perfect.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
is he figuring shit out, or are the Panthers just terrible? I don't know what's going on. And we have
think
Wait. The pass to Graham, if Graham's not 6'8" and
But he
jumps
is.
up, to 11 feet to catch the frickin' ball.
But he is 6'8" and jumped 11 feet in the air.
Yeah,
That's
but what
where
I'm
you throw
saying
that
is-
ball.
Okay, wait. So you're saying that Carr dropped back, calculated that Jimmy Graham being 6'8", jumping up to 9'1", I'm going to throw the ball right there at 9'1" for
Yeah.
Jimmy to catch.
Yes, I think you throw a high pass to a tall guy who jumps up and used to play basketball. Yes, you throw a high point. That's what I think. And I think Olave should have caught that deep ball early in the game.
Yeah. Hey, shout out Patty. Glad to see you listening in on this show here for a nice Saints win. Yes, indeed. Oh, all right. So that brings us to halftime. And with halftime, we've come to our favorite part of the show.
It's a Tomas rant.
That's right. I don't want to hear these facts.
Daddy, she's gonna blow!
I have opinions.
I got a nuke coming in. It's going to blow in less than a minute.
Facts don't mean anything to me. My opinion overranks the fact, okay?
It's gonna blow up, it's gonna blow up.
And she will. It is a mathematical certainty.
All right, Tomas, what's your rant
All
for this
right.
week?
All right, here's my rant. And I'm glad we have an offensive lineman here with us today.
Yeah.
Because this is my rant. Why do we not run the damn ball more? I go into the huddle and I say, boys, you 5 gentlemen across the front of the line, push, because we're going to run the ball. We're going to give the ball to Alvin. We're going to give the ball to Williams. So start. Because I'm telling you, Williams gets the ball. How many yards does he get? Man, he looks good hitting the corner, right? He breaks off between the guard and the tackle. Off he goes. Alvin's looking pretty good. You know, I mean, every team keys on Alvin. So he's not going to necessarily get one of those long runs again. But you tell the offensive lineman, you know what? Screw the pass protection. When I snap the ball, go out there and knock somebody's ass on the ground. There you go. You're a real offensive lineman. You like to run the ball. I mean, I've always heard this all my life. I'm sure Craig will tell me one way or another. But I've heard all my life, man, the offensive linemen love to run the ball. The more they run the ball, the better it is. They really like it. Well, you know what? Then let's get out there. You know, Pete is much better in the run game than the pass game. Okay, let's go. You know, instead, you know, we have all this BS going on, all these little dump passes where we're getting beat. You know, and if that's Carmichael's play calling, then you know what? You know, he should go do a Charmin commercial, you know, because it's about as worthless as one-ply tissue. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, that's right. That's what he is, one-ply tissue. You know, the kind where you go to wipe your behind and oops, your finger goes right through it, right?
That's Dale's favorite.
You know what I'm talking about?
You
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that must be Carmichael's favorite. You know, I mean, like, oops. Okay.
It looks like
No,
Carmichael
I-
gets scared because he had a couple possessions where it was 5 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, 4 yards, and then he gets a 2-yard carry and he gets scared. He goes, "Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's start throwing the ball here. We don't want to be
But
stuck in
that's
the
what
third
I'm
and
saying,
long." You know?
right? Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You know, you
Yep.
just keep pounding the rock, keep pounding it, and eventually those guys on the defensive line are getting tired. Okay,
So-
now you can hit a screen because now they don't have the shoes to get out to the outside anymore. But when you don't, they have enough, you know, vigor still to get out there.
You know
So
what, though?
to me,
in this
that's
game,
my rant, man.
But this is an interesting comment. You're saying we need to stick with the run more. In the second half of that game, it was the pass that kind of carried us away. Like we were back and forth trying to run the ball, and as soon as we started opening it up downfield, that's when we kind of put foot on their throat and ended the damn thing. So is our running the ball setting up the pass, or do we need to keep running to keep the time of possession and do all that old school football stuff that I like so much? It looked to me like throwing the ball is actually what ended up winning the game late.
I think that when you run the ball, yes, you set up the pass. But I think you have to run the ball, even if you go 1, 2, 3 out, you still keep pounding the ball so that you can throw the pass. I still believe that some of those passes that you say, you know, got us going down the field weren't great passes. They were great catches, but they weren't necessarily great passes. So to me, I still would go back to say, I don't believe we ran the ball hard enough. And I would give our offensive line much more of a chance, and they can't blame the offensive line all the time because, again, several times until finally McCoy blew up, Carr comes to the line and calls the wrong damn scheme, And how many times has he done that? That's not the first time he does that, So, one play is everybody's favorite.
I told you, Dale's a big fan.
That's great. You get a surprise at the end.
To me, it just seems that if Carr can't make the right call, then you know what? Just go up to the line and run the damn ball until the defensive line gets tired of having them run. They scoot up, the linebackers scoot up, the safety scoot up. Okay, now we can throw some of those passes and do something. But that's just my particular view of it.
You're right. You're right. Run the ball down your throat. It wears the defense down and makes them tired if you're getting first downs. If you do it 3 times and punt and then they're on the bench for the next 20 minutes, it doesn't wear them out anymore. It's exactly as exhausting to rush the passer as it is to defend the run. I've played defense too. The thing about it, if you're moving the sticks running the ball, you take the wind out of them. Their body blows. It's hitting the boxer in the ribs and you're bringing his arms down. But if you can't convert those first downs, and we're not a good short yardage team without Taysom out there, you have to be able to throw the ball. The biggest problem that we're all ignoring is that this team is incapable of using play action. You set up the run pass, and the natural progression of that is you fake the damn run and then you throw the damn pass. That's a play action pass. We just don't do it.
I agree.
When we started doing it against the Lions, we were extremely effective doing it. And then this week, I don't think we ran it at all.
Well, we have one. I got one in my notes here that we're going to get to for sure.
Cool.
So that the second half, we start off, the Panthers give us a first down, basically. Shout out to Shy Tuttle for giving us a free first down on a short yardage play where the Saints didn't look like they were going to run a play, but, they ran a hard count. Shy Tuttle crossed the line, give us an automatic first down. So,
hey, that's pretty cool that we let him walk in free agency and he still wanted to help us out.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Shout out Shy Tuttle, man. Yeah. I remember these things, okay? I know Dave doesn't like to live in the past, okay? But I remember these guys. Shout out to Shy Tuttle.
Well, the kill got him.
Yeah.
He was fine until he got the kill.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, nobody was running a play in that scenario. The guys going in motion and resetting and kill. Shut up, Derek Carr. No one had it. There was no play going to get ran right there, you dummies. Oh, my God. This is why the Panthers are 1-12 and have their future tied to a quarterback that sucks.
Yep.
Man.
But hey, unfortunately, that drive didn't lead to any points. We ended up punting. Panthers get the ball back, and on this drive, this is where Sanders breaks a 48-yard run and gets the Panthers into the red zone. Shout out to Adebo for knocking him out at the goal line, though. Good hustle.
Adebo's a good player, man.
Yeah, that was good. All the way from the opposite side of the field to still come back and get him. Yeah.
Right. So we followed that up with a sack by Mario Davis to force the third down, and ultimately Panthers kick a field goal that makes it 14-6 Saints. So good stands there by the defense. I mean, that was definitely a drive where it was supposed to end up in 6 points and it didn't. So shout out to the defense for standing up there. So now the next possession is when the offense gets the ball back, and this is where we see McCoy fussing at Carr. And I was wondering what the hell's going on? Your center's fussing at your quarterback. So what did you see there, Craig? This is the perfect time to have you on here.
So this happens all the time. Usually it's not as dramatic because usually the offense isn't as frustrated as it has been. One of the things I talked about Derek Carr coming in this building is he does what Drew Brees used to do, and that's dictate the protections. So the last couple of years, that's been McCoy's job. He gets up to the line. He's looking at there's the mic, there's the will, where I go, we're going to do this over here. He's dictating everything from there. He's calling that out. He doesn't have the best view. Right. In good offenses, the quarterback dictates that protection and just tells the O-line what they're doing. Okay. Carr is a good quarterback, so he's calling out those protections, right? He gets up there, he calls it out. He misses something. Guy comes clean through the middle, sacks him, ends the drive. O-line looks like they blew an unblocked guy, makes them look terrible, and he's pissed. It's like, so we look like shit because you're doing your job wrong, and people are going to blame us for you doing it wrong. Like, part of the quarterback's job happens before the ball is snapped, and that's part of his job. So if he's not going to make those calls correctly, and I guarantee you that is not the first time that's happened. We talked about how many sacks he's been taking and how the O-line has been so terrible. Seeing it in bright, HD color TV right now, I bet you a lot of those sacks have been Derek Carr calling out bad protections. It's not an isolated incident. This is just one that was really obvious because McCoy got pissed.
Right.
Yeah. I agree.
Which happens a lot.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the issue with the O-line, like you said. I don't think the O-line is nearly as bad as some people think that it is. I think that it's just, if Carr is making the calls and he's not making the right calls. And then remember when we had Penning in there, you're talking about a young kid who has no freaking clue, and has no help from the inside most of the time. You make a bad call, well, he can't, he's not really ready to play. Get a bad call from the quarterback, because even the veteran guys don't look good, right, Craig? So
Ramczyk has struggled. We've McCoy has had a better second half of the year than first half, but there's been a lot of bumps on just on production from them. But I think a lot of it is the coaching, and it's a lot about being in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's not a lot of outside of Ramczyk, who's been overpowered a few times. It's not usually a guy just getting whipped. It's usually a guy being out of position and unable to make up for it.
Yes.
And part of that is calling out the damn protections. So Derek Carr could be directly responsible for some of his own damn injuries.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I know last season, Jameis Winston didn't look like he was making those calls, and there was a lot of sacks and stuff like that in rush. And so
Jameis
now
Winston is a special circumstance.
Well, yeah, but obtaining Carr, the thought was, he was going to be able to call out those line calls, make the correct adjustments and stuff. And so, maybe he is the problem with the offensive line underperforming this season and not looking as good as we thought they would look, this season. So,
well, Doug Marrone is the main reason that this offensive line is not.
He's guilty too.
We've got all right. Look at this line.
Listen, coach,
Pete was the first round pick.
Yes.
We've got McCoy is a second round pick. Ruiz is a first round pick. Ramczyk is a first round pick. Penning is a first round pick, not even playing.
Right.
So we have invested as much as any team in the league in that O-line. There are first round picks up and down that damn thing, and they're not producing. And you can't tell me they're not talented players because they were going to get drafted real high. If we didn't pick them, somebody was going to take them high.
Yeah.
So the only way to tell me that these are just they're all bums. All of them are bad. Ramczyk has declined. Ruiz got better, and then he got hurt, and now he's worse. And it's got to be O-line coaching. It's got to be scheme. The offensive coordinator, the system, the scheme that we do, it is built for a guy like Drew Brees to run. And we don't have a guy like Drew Brees. We will never have a guy like Drew Brees. Drew Brees was a unicorn. And if you keep trying to make Derek Carr be Drew Brees, we're going to have more of these 12 completions for 39 yards kind of games.
Yeah. That's a great point there, Craig. Yeah. All right. So the defense back on the field, we see Granderson come up with his 6th sack of the year, and that forces a field goal. And Carolina kicks, and it's no good. So we're still at 14-6 here. Really good stand there by the defense, and getting an actual sack. We don't see that too often from New Orleans. So,
do you know how much more expensive Granderson would have been if we didn't sign him already? We waited until the end of the year. He ends up with 8 sacks, and then we got to try to pay for him. We couldn't have afforded him. He'd be playing in Cincinnati, putting up numbers like some other unnamed defensive end.
Well, just imagine if we hadn't paid Davenport and instead paid Hicks.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about Davenport. I'm in too good a mood right now. Okay, I'm wearing a Santa hat. There is a Christmas tree in the other room. I am up here and talking about Davenport's going to bring me down here. Okay, I'm trying to stay up here right now.
Okay. Because I love you, I'm going to stop on the Davenport.
Appreciate you.
Because I have a lot more.
I got to bounce in a couple of minutes anyway, so you can get all your Davenport talk in as soon as I get out of here and start crying.
So the Saints' second half possessions went punt, touchdown, end of game. So with this next possession, this is where Carr used the play action and hit A.T. Perry deep with about 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter here.
I'm sorry. What did they run on that play?
Yeah, play action, Craig. We ran play action, and it worked.
and it made up almost half of the entire day's passing yards.
Yep.
Run fucking play action, Carmichael. It's not that hard.
Yeah. That's what I say. I don't understand what's the deal where they don't want to use play action every week, but when we use it, it's really effective.
No. We figured this out. It's incompetence. That's the. Oh yeah, that was it. Incompetence is why they don't run it more often.
Yeah. Well. Speaking of incompetence, on this drive, we saw the officials missed an illegal touch by Pete. Like, how the hell you don't call that?
I thought for sure that they were going to throw a red flag because if they said incomplete pass,
yeah,
well then okay, but who caught it or who knocked it down to the floor to the ground?
Right.
Well, Pete. So at the very least, it should have been ineligible receiver call.
Yes.
And this is part of that O-line bias against that you guys keep displaying. When a Debo knocks a football down to the ground, your eyes are all happy with him. But one of my guys knocks a football down and suddenly, it's illegal touching. How dare you guys be so unfair to my beautiful O-line? Okay.
This offensive line.
Real heroes.
Now you need to have the button. Real American hero. You missed it. Okay.
You can't hit them all. You can't hit them all.
Yeah.
That's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I will be on the beer run this Tuesday. Have fun the rest of the show, guys.
All right, Craig. Take care, brother.
All right. So then we see Jimmy Graham with a great contested catch for a first down. Really great to see him in the game, first of all, but the fact that they called a number, used him, good stuff.
Right.
Good stuff.
He was in the game earlier.
Yeah.
I texted out, Graham's sighting, So it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, they should. Again, we go back to when they signed Jimmy Graham, they said, oh, we have a plan for him. And I think everybody thought, yeah, anytime we're inside the red zone, Jimmy Graham. And yet, he had, before this game, right? I think he had 2 completions for 2 touchdowns, right? That was like what his score sheet was, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, it's pretty obvious. And like I said earlier, right? When you're 6'8", and you throw the ball up 9.5 feet into the air, the only guy who's going to catch it is going to be 6'8".
Right. Right.
Yep. So it's not necessarily that it was a really great pass. It was just, it's way the hell up there. Only he could catch it.
It's effective. It works.
Well, and one of the things that I like about Graham, and always like this, and I would wish that the other receivers would catch on. Jimmy Graham catches the ball at his highest point.
Yeah.
He's very consistent about that, right? He doesn't jump early. He doesn't jump late. It's like he's got the timing down that he knows exactly when to jump to catch the ball at his highest point. And if we could get some of the other players to do that, man, then you can win a lot of games with an average quarterback, you know?
Yeah, just like that deep pass to Olave in the game where he could have went up to catch it instead of waiting on it to come down. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what I mean. Yep.
I agree with you. But so after this Jimmy Graham play, Carr fouls it up with a slant to Olave in the red zone for a touchdown. It's 21-6.
Yep.
Saints. Look, shout out to Carr, red zone conversion, and he hit a slant. That's 2-1 right there. So
that's 2. Yeah, that's 2. Yeah.
But at this point in the game, it's the fourth quarter, and he's got 99 yards passing at this point.
And at this point, I'm still going, I don't know if we're going to win this game.
Yeah.
I mean, it tells you, what this team has done to us,
Yeah.
I mean, I really try very hard to be optimistic from the very beginning. Okay, it's a game we're going to win, But even, we win 21-6, and I'm thinking, man, I put them at 23-20, Saints winning. I said, man, I don't know. You know?
Yep. So the Saints get the ball back, and Carr hits Jimmy Graham for another touchdown. And this is also in the red zone. And so this makes it 28-6 Saints.
Now I'm feeling good.
Yeah, for sure.
Now
There's no doubts about it at this point. Saints can't hurt me now.
Yeah. That's what I'm figuring. I'm figuring, I said 20 points they'd score, so they got
Right.
6. Even if they scored another touchdown, it's 13. We're still going to win, So
Yep.
I felt pretty good at that point, yes.
So yep. So this is the game in a nutshell. Who do you have for your players of the game, offense and defense?
Well, on offense, I got to go with Jimmy Graham.
Okay.
I don't know who else I could go with. I appreciated some of the hard running by Kamara and Williams, but
Mhm.
truthfully, in this game, I have to thank Graham for some really outstanding play, catching the ball and scoring the points. So on offense, I go Jimmy Graham, who we used to say was a soft serve with no sprinkles.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's learned some more about football, and now he has the sprinkles. So God bless him. That's what I say. On defense,
Okay.
I have to tell you, it's kind of difficult to pick somebody on defense. I thought Brzee had a good game on the interior. I thought that Adebo had a good game. You didn't hear his name called much because they didn't really throw over to his side.
Mhm.
So if I had to pick somebody, I think I would pick either Adebo or the other cornerback whose name escapes me. Starts with a Y.
Yadam.
Yadam. Yeah, because I thought he played pretty well.
Yeah, he did. He did play well.
So I would
He did
pick one
play
of those two young men to be our defensive player of the game. So
Okay.
those are my picks.
That's good picks there, Tomas. For me, let's see. On offense, yeah, I can't go by anybody but Jimmy Graham. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. Get this man more playing time. Let's get Jimmy Graham the ball. I must say though, I was surprised with the run and the effectiveness of the running game without Taysom Hill. We put together 97 yards on the ground, 56 for Kamara and 43 from Jamal Williams, his best game of the season. So shout out to him. On defense, I'm probably going to give it to Demario Davis. 8 tackles, 1.5 sacks. I thought it was a solid game for him. I could have considered Howden because Howden had a lot of tackles and he came up with a forced fumble and a sack, that kind of thing. So definitely good. But I have to once again shout out DeMarco Jackson because I called him a bust and he scored a touchdown. So hey.
Well, like I said, I think both Sewell and Jackson will be important to this team, not just on special teams. And by the way, I meant to mention also, and I forgot until you started talking, Bowen on offense. Yeah, because I think that he made some really crucial plays at times, and of course he's one of my alma mater's graduates, UK. So
SEC guy, that's right.
Yeah. So, but I thought he did an effective job at wide receiver, blocking as well as making some good crucial catches.
Yeah, he caught all 4 of his targets for 24 yards, had a long of 15. So Yep.
Although, man, it becomes real obvious that Shaheen is a real, killer weapon on punts and kickoffs. We just don't have anybody to replace him.
Yep. So. And as wide receiver too.
Yes,
you really got nothing else at wide receiver besides A.T. Perry and Olave. So Bowden chipped in with a 4 for 24, but that's really it. After that, there's no other receivers on the stat sheet.
Yes. Well, and the other thing is not just his catching the ball. He threw some really good blocks too.
Yeah, blocking.
Like on that long Williams run, he had a really good block.
Right.
So that's why it sort of came to me that overall, he was doing a good job. Better than Traquan.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it was a good game. Overall, we got a win, and so there were some good standout players, and so we'll see how it goes. So.
Yep. Well, the Saints have the Giants up next. So we'll see if we can put together back-to-back wins and ultimately make your prediction come true and get us to the playoffs here, Tomas.
I'm saying to you, I think that this team, in spite of the coaching staff, can win 3 of the next 4. And if that's the case, then they'll end up 9-8. They'll win the South, and they'll host a playoff game.
Okay, so tell me, you're Gail Benz's advisor. The Saints make the playoffs in the scenario that you just laid out. What are you doing with the coaching staff? What are you doing with the team?
I think that there's not going to be a choice. I think that we know for a fact that the contract with Carr, there's no out. So he's going to be the quarterback next season. That being the case, if they win 3 of the 4, I think that Dennis Allen saves his job. I think that Pete Carmichael will leave. If you recall, he didn't really want the gig to begin with.
Yeah.
So I think that he will, of himself, just remove himself from the game. So I think that will be it. I think the coaching changes. I could see Marone going offensive line. I could see Pete Carmichael going offensive coordinator. I think for sure those 2 will be the scapegoats, if you will.
Okay.
But I don't think that. I think that she will let the team go on another year with Allen and Carr, simply because, like I said to you, because I think they tied at the hip. Dennis Allen drafted him in Oakland, and I think he told Mrs. Benson, "Look, I want my own quarterback," and so she and our GM said, "Okay, fine, we'll let you have your quarterback." They paid way too much for him, but there's no out in the contract, so I think the 2 joined at the hip, stay on 1 more year.
Okay.
And I don't expect much of a better record for next year, to tell you the truth. I think we win 9 or 10 games next year. That's about, pretty good.
Okay. So if that's a scenario where they bring back Dennis Allen, how do you play it as the front office? Are you really aggressive like you've been the past 2 years? Or are you playing this a little bit more conservative because you haven't gotten the results that you expected the past 2 years?
Well, this is what I said earlier to several people, who are enamored with these quarterbacks. Oh, it's the best quarterback field, in several years.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you end up like Carolina, because I don't think we're going to be a top 10 pick. So do you trade and make the same mistake you made with Davenport and move up, give up next year's as well as this year? I don't think so.
Okay.
And so not being top 10, we have more holes to fill. So to me, I think we go, I know people aren't going to be happy with it, but I think we go either offensive tackle or we go defensive end.
Okay.
I think that's the way we go. If we're going to pick at 10 and everybody's going to be hot to trot for these top 5 quarterbacks, that means that some of these defensive guys are going to fall.
Yeah.
And, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if our GM says, okay, let's pick some offensive linemen, defensive linemen, linebacker for sure, and then let's see where it goes from there. I don't think we pick quarterback because, and I know people say, yeah, we pick one, he sits behind Carr for a year. I don't think so. I think they just say, we're stuck with Carr for at least 1 more year, maybe 2.
Yeah.
So no sense in getting a young kid, make him sit on the bench for more than 1 year. It's not a situation like, Green Bay had, right? Where they sat, a future Hall of Famer behind a Hall of Famer, right? I mean, it's not the same situation because Carr is not in that discussion, in my opinion. So it was one thing to say, let's let Jameis sit behind Drew and try. Hopefully, he picks something from Drew. That was one I could understand.
Okay.
But the pick, and I don't think we get Daniels, to tell you the truth. I think we probably get Pennis. Probably if we got anybody. And you're gonna make the kid sit behind Carr. What can you learn from Carr? Nothing. I'm being truthful. I mean, if you put somebody in and tell them to sit behind somebody, Aaron Rodgers sat behind Favre. Okay, these are 2 guys going to be, in the Hall of Fame. Okay, you had Young sit behind Montana, 2 guys in the Hall of Fame. Okay, you have somebody sit behind Carr. Carr's not going to the Hall of Fame. So sorry, I just don't see that. And especially because, as Craig said before, there's an issue. We have picked first round picks on the offensive line all across the offensive line, and we still can't do a good job with. So Marone's got to go.
Yeah,
got to have somebody different in there.
Agreed.
Yes. And the kid from Notre Dame, the offensive tackle from Notre Dame, everybody talks big about this guy. I mean, again, I think he's better than Penning. So if we could get him in, that'd be a great plus for the offensive line. Or, as I said, we can go defensive line, not interior. We have to go exterior because I love Cam, and he's going to retire with this team. But Cam's lost at least one step. And now you can see age is catching up with him because he's beat up. And he can't bounce back from those injuries.
Yep.
And I think DeMario, the same thing. We're talking about a guy who's been outstanding. I think that's one of the greatest, except for Drew Brees, the greatest free agent signing we've had is DeMario Davis.
Yeah. It was a good
so,
one, sure.
And Honey Badgers, man, look, he's lost at least 2 steps. He couldn't catch up with the kid, couldn't even cut off the angle when Young started running. So,
I know, but he still lead us in like interceptions like the past 2 years, right? So,
well, he knows. Well, he's an experienced fellow who knows where to position himself. I didn't say he doesn't play great ball. I'm just saying speed-wise, he can't catch up with the people anymore. And if you got May's not back there, you got a young rookie who I really like at safety.
Oh no, he's second. He's second. Actually, Debo leads the team in 4 interceptions. So
yeah. So, but still, I mean, he's still up there with interceptions. It's just, I'm just saying to you that I think we need to start projecting for the future.
Yeah,
these guys are going to play for another year or 2, but by then they definitely have to be replaced. And just like, let me tell you something I really liked. I really like when they showed Cam Jordan on the sideline working with Bond. Showing them, no, your hand has to go this way, your arm has to go this way. That's what we need. Yeah. We need, while these older generation can still play, we need them to be the not a coach, but somebody who actually plays the game.
Mentor. To
show them these little things,
Mentor.
Because it's little things that make a difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's my thought. I mean, I just don't see us. I think Mrs. Benson will allow the people that she's hired to make the choices, and so I believe if they truly win 3 of the 4, I think Dennis Allen saves his job. Actually, I believe he wins 2 of the 4. I think Dennis Allen saves his job.
Ooh.
Now, if he loses all 4, maybe not.
Hey, I hope you're wrong about Dennis Allen keeping his job, but we'll see what ends up happening here. That'll wrap it up for us this week on
all right, brother.
The Beer Chaser. Again, the Saints win 28-6 over the Panthers. We will see you again next week when the Saints face off against the Giants. Hopefully, we talk about another win. That's right.
Another win.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. For Tomas and Craig, who had to leave, I am Dale. Who dat?
Later.
Remember to follow us on social media at BS Beer Media. Also, smash the like button on YouTube and share with friends.